Hello, I'm professional attorney and very much amateur musician Scott Lesowitz, and I'm back with a new video. I'm excited about this. I will be reacting to Rick Beato's Why All Modern Pop Sounds the Same, and let's get right to it.
And the title of the video is the Gen Alpha Melody. And I'm thinking, what is the Gen Alpha Melody? Well, this is what it is.
Before playing this part, I gotta say, when I first heard this mashup, some of the songs sounded so similar, the melodies sounded so similar that on some of them, I did not realize that it had switched from one song to another.
Don't you want me like I want you, baby? Don't you need me like I need you now? Do you ever feel like I'm listening? Everything inside you is gonna get twisted. Each day goes by and each night I cry. Somebody saw you with her last night. Nobody said that it would last forever. That doesn't mean we didn't try to get there. Give me a call if you ever know, baby. I'll be like one of you guys when you hold me.
You get the idea.
Okay, maybe I was just dumb when I listened to it the first time or wasn't paying enough attention.
I immediately recognize this melody because I know some of these songs. He's trying to trace.
I gotta say, I didn't know any of those songs. I don't think I'd ever heard any of them.
It's a little bit misleading because what he did is he took the vocals, isolated them, and then changed them all to the same key and put them over the same chord progression.
From a copyright law standpoint, it is not misleading to transpose the songs so that they're all in the same key. In copyright infringement cases, that is commonly done. It's accepted that if songs are in different keys from each other, that you place them in the same key, you transpose one of them, so that way, and then compare them.
The melodies are the same in all these, obviously, but he puts them over a chord progression in the key of E flat. They are using the same melody, but they're in different keys, which doesn't matter, but they actually use different chord progressions.
Now, so for copyright infringement, the test is substantial similarity. So having different harmony in the songs definitely would matter. That would be a factor, something the court would consider. But if you have a distinct enough melody, especially one here that's like not just a few notes. I mean, we're talking pretty extended amount of notes. Then you can have substantial similarity and potential copyright infringement, even if the harmony is different. It's not like, oh, because you change the chords, you can just use someone else's melody. It's not like that.
Now, when the video started playing, as the song started progressing, I was like, wait a second, that's actually not the Gen Alpha melody. That is the Boomer melody.
Dun, dun, dun. What a twist there. Whoa.
Because that is from this song.
It's only love, and that is all. Why should I feel the way I do?
That's It's Only Love from the Beatles album Help that came out in 1965. That's a John Lennon song. That's the exact melody from that song.
So if John Lennon really was the first person to write that melody and then to have it be released, I think potentially, his estate, let's say Yoko Ono could, go on a lawsuit spree and sue all these people. I'm not suggesting she should or will, or that she would even win, but this is similar enough that, likely similar enough that it at least would get to a jury. And once you get to a jury and a jury is allowed to decide whether there's substantial similarity in copyright infringement, anything could happen.
First to it in the very last 2 seconds or so of the video.
Oh, and just on an ending note, there's this obscure Scouse band who used it, but they probably didn't influence anybody.
Did you say the Beatles song wouldn't influence anybody? I don't know about that, even if it was indirect. Anyway, neither here nor there. I may have even heard it wrong. Who knows?
Is a phenomenal song, and it's very sophisticated, far more interesting than any of these things.
Oh, these kids nowadays, their music is so awful, da, da, da. Funny thing is Rick actually usually tends to be, in his thumbnails and his titles, he tends to be, more provocative as to like not hating modern music. But then when you actually watch a lot of his videos, he's actually, much more into the pop music.
Amazing how those people recycled this John Lennon melody, But the one thing they missed out on is that John did it over a different progression that's way more interesting than any of these songs. You can think of it like this. Harmony is the ocean that melody sets sail upon. Now, at the
Wait, what? That may have been beyond me. I don't know if I quite understand that analogy.
beginning of this, I said he changed all these songs to fit this one chord progression.
I have to say I am a very amateur musician, and I'm not a sailor either. So maybe if I were better at one or the other, I would get it.
The difference between that and what John Lennon does by having that one chord that's outside of the key, it makes the melody far more interesting because the harmony has chromaticism, or notes that are not from the same key. Let me give you an example of a sophisticated melody that uses chromaticism.
I'd say chromaticism sounds like something you need to go to the doctor for if you have it.
Check it out. You all know this. This is, of course, the Imperial March from The Empire Strikes Back, or the Darth Vader theme.
Wait, I'm confused now. Is he saying that John Williams ripped off John Lennon's melody? I'm confused because it's not sounding the same to me. Hold on. And I've seen this before. Hold on.
It has a very dark chord progression with chords that come from different keys.
Oh, wait, is he just using this as an example of chromaticism? Is he just using this as an example of songs that use chords borrowed from a different key? I think that's what this is, but I don't think it has to do with the melody. Okay, I think interesting he chose that. I think there's lots of examples of using chords outside the borrowed chords, but okay.
Those chords are not from the same key, G minor and E flat minor. You can hear that. Okay, so a lot of you might be saying, what does the Star Wars melody have to do with radio singles?
Yeah, some of us were.
I'll give you a radio single that has a chromatic chord progression and a chromatic melody, changes keys all over the place, and has 850 million plays on Spotify right now. You might remember this band.
Oh, that's a big twist for a Rick Beato video, because a lot of his fans, a lot of people watch his videos are like, prog rock or even like, classic rock snobs. And so, I know a lot of them are apparently down on Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. That said, as somebody who is a prog head and had a phase earlier in my life where I could be pretty arrogant about the music, because growing up I was really into Nirvana. I always never was like that with Nirvana.
That chord progression uses a bunch of what we call borrowed chords that are borrowed from other keys.
Right, so we could have skipped the Imperial March example and just used Lithium, right? If I'm not mistaken, because I'm pretty sure this is not that pop melody. So, okay, all right. I guess we just got two examples. But anyway, I want to be clear. I think Rick Beato is great. He makes great videos. There's a reason why he has 5 million more subscribers than I do, and he knows his stuff. I don't want to, I try to be humorous, but I want to be adding. I don't want to take on that cocky YouTube persona that a lot of people do, and then sometimes it seems almost like they can't tell if they're just that way anymore, just if they are just cocky or playing a character. I don't want to do that, but I got to poke some fun.
Quick plug, if you want to learn more about the theory of borrowed chords, you can check out my Beato book interactive or my Beato ear training method.
Okay, one thing I want to finish on here is that just because Rick, I made a video about this before, just because Rick plugs his Beato books at the end of his videos like this video, in my opinion, is fair use. This video is fair use, and the fact that he plugs his Beato book at the end, I do not think that changes it. I still think it's fair use. It's not like he's using those songs in the plug, right? So sometimes he plays too much of the original songs as they use as examples. I don't think he did that here on the mashup. I think you had to hear about as much as he played. I mean, people could disagree, but there's no bright line rule on Imperial March. Maybe he played a bit. Then that was getting closer to the edge, but I think even that's probably justifiable. So anyway, all right, take care. I'm going to end it there. So hope you liked and enjoyed it, and please like and subscribe. I'm going to hopefully be making these weekly.